Hello and welcome viewers, you're watching In Depth with your host Kriti Mishra. The Union Cabinet has approved to confer the status of classical language to Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese and Bengali languages. Classical languages are regarded as the custodians of India's ancient and profound cultural legacy, preserving the rich history, literature and traditions of their respective communities. By conferring this status, the government seeks to honor and protect the linguistic milestones of Bharat's diverse cultural landscape, ensuring that future generations can access and appreciate the deep historical roots of these languages. This move not only reinforces the importance of linguistic diversity, but also acknowledges the vital role these languages play in shaping the nation's cultural identity. India is a land of diverse cultures and traditions and languages, each with a rich reservoir of literature that reflects the nation's vast history. Languages are a significant part of India's cultural heritage and have shaped its historical identity for centuries. Language is a vital component of individual development and plays a significant role in shaping culture. Through language, people often cultivate their sense of identity and pride. India is a vibrant tapestry of countless languages and dialects. To protect and promote these languages, the government has introduced various initiatives, including the conferral of classical status to select languages. So why is a language declared as classical? Well, the designation of a language as classical is intended to recognize its historical significance and its role as a guardian of Bharat's rich cultural and intellectual heritage. These languages have been essential in preserving and transmitting India's ancient knowledge systems, philosophies, and values across generations for 1,000 years. By recognizing these languages as classical, the government acknowledges their deep-rooted antiquity, vast literary traditions, and their invaluable contribution to the cultural fabric of the nation. This recognition highlights the significant cultural and linguistic contributions these languages have made to India's heritage. It will not only elevate their stature, but also facilitate efforts towards the promotion, preservation, and further research of these languages, ensuring their continued relevance in the modern world. What are the criteria for declaring a language as classical? In 2004, the Government of India for the first time created a new category of languages known as classical languages. It set the following as criteria for the status of classical language: high antiquity of its early texts or recorded history over 1,000 years. A body of ancient literature, texts, which is considered a valuable heritage by a generation of speakers. The literary tradition must be original and not borrowed from another speech community. This criterion was revised in 2005 and 2024 based on the recommendations of linguistic experts committees under Sahitya Academy to examine the proposed languages for the status of classical language. The criteria were revised in November 2005 as follows, and Sanskrit was declared a classical language. High antiquity of its early texts or recorded history over a period of 1500 or 2000 years. A body of ancient literature texts which is considered a valuable heritage by a generation of speakers. The literary tradition must be original and not borrowed from another speech community. The classical language and literature being distinct from modern, there may always be a discontinuity between the classical language and its later forms or its offshoots. The criteria was revised in 2024 as follows: high antiquity of its early texts or recorded history over a period of 1500 or 2000 years. a body of ancient literature or text which is considered a heritage by a generation of speakers. Knowledge texts, especially prose texts in addition to poetry, epigraphical and inscriptional evidence. The classical languages and literature could be distinct from its current form or could be discontinuous with later forms of its offshoots. The 2024 Linguistic Expert Committee also recommended to be fulfilling revised criteria to be considered as classical language: Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese and Bengali. How many languages have been declared classical so far? 6 Indian languages, namely Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam and Odia, were earlier accorded the status of classical language. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved to confer the status of classical language to Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese and Bengali languages on October 3, 2024, thus bringing the total number of classical languages to 11. What is the impact of a language being declared classical? Well, the inclusion of languages as classical languages will create significant employment opportunities, especially in the academic and research sectors. Additionally, the preservation, documentation, and digitization of ancient texts in these languages will generate jobs in areas such as archiving, translation, publishing, and digital media. Recognizing the languages as classical encourages scholarly research and preservation and the revitalization of ancient texts and knowledge systems, which are essential to India's intellectual and cultural identity. Furthermore, it instills a sense of pride and ownership among the speakers of these languages, promoting national integration and aligning with the broader vision of a self-reliant and culturally rooted India. Recently, the Cabinet approved the inclusion of 5 additional languages in this prestigious category. This decision marks a significant milestone in the preservation and promotion of literature and culture. The people of Assam, known as Assamese or Assamese, share a rich linguistic heritage that reflects the state's cultural identity. Assamese, the official language of Assam, has its roots in Sanskrit, with its development tracing back to as early as the 7th century AD. The conferral of classical status to the Assamese language holds significant importance for its preservation and promotion. This recognition acknowledges the rich literary heritage and historical significance of Assamese. Classical status enhances the language's prestige, fostering a renewed interest in its literature, culture, and linguistic studies. It also paves the way for government support in the form of funding and resources for research, education, and cultural initiatives, ensuring that the language is not only preserved but also thrives in contemporary society. Overall, the classical status serves as a vital catalyst for the continued development and vitality of Assamese language. Bengali, one of India's most prominent languages, holds a significant place in the cultural and linguistic history of the subcontinent. Bengali has nurtured a rich tradition of poets, authors, and scholars who have shaped not only Bengal's cultural identity but also India's national consciousness. From the earliest translations of Sanskrit epics to the revolutionary writings of the 19th and 20th centuries, Bengali literature has played a pivotal role in mobilizing social, political, and intellectual movements. Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has approved to confer the status of classical language to Bengali, along with Marathi, Pali, and Assamese. This recognition underscores the profound historical and literary milestones of Bengali, while also promoting the preservation of its linguistic heritage for future generations. Marathi, an Indo-Aryan language widely spoken in the Indian state of Maharashtra, has a rich literary tradition that dates back over 1,000 years. As a vital medium of cultural expression and communication, Marathi reflects its people's unique traditions and values through its diverse literary heritage, encompassing poetry, prose, and folklore. The Government of India recently conferred classical language status on Marathi, making a significant milestone in the language's journey. This recognition not only honors the extensive literary contributions of Marathi, but also highlights its historical and cultural importance. Prakrit, representing a spectrum of Middle Indo-Aryan languages, is integral to understanding India's rich linguistic and cultural heritage. This ancient language not only serves as a foundation for many modern Indian languages, but also encapsulates the diverse traditions and philosophies that have shaped the subcontinent's historical narrative. According to Adi Shankaracharya, Prakrit and Sanskrit languages are the true vehicles of Indian wisdom. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Modi, has approved conferring the classical language status to Prakrit. The term Pali Bhasha or Pali language is a modern coinage, and its exact origin remains a topic of debate among scholars. Up until the 6th or 7th century, there was no specific language known as Pali. The earliest references to Pali are found in the commentaries of the Buddhist scholar Buddhaghosa. Several theories have emerged regarding the origins of Pali. German Indologist Max Welser suggested that Pali is derived from Patal or Padali, potentially indicating a connection to the language of Patliputra. British Orientalist and compiler of first Pali English dictionary, R.C. Childers, believed that Pali was a vernacular spoken by the common people. At the same time, colonial-era legislator from Ceylon, James Elvis, identified it as the language of Magad, prevalent during the time of Gautam Buddha. Elvis argued that Magadhi was the original name for Pali, and it was used extensively until the time of Emperor Ashoka. The study of Pali is crucial for reconstructing the history of ancient India, as its literature is rich in materials that offer valuable insights into the past. However, many Pali texts remain hidden in manuscripts that are not easily accessible. Pali continues to be studied in Buddhist countries such as Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, and regions like Chittagong, Japan, Korea, Tibet, China, and Mongolia, where the majority of Buddhists reside. The Union Cabinet's decision to confer classical language status to these languages reflects a deep recognition of the invaluable role these languages have played in shaping India's cultural and intellectual heritage. This step not only acknowledges their historical and literary significance, but also underscores the government's commitment to preserving and promoting India's linguistic diversity. This initiative is expected to foster academic and research opportunities, enhance global collaborations, and contribute to nation's cultural and economic growth. By safeguarding these languages for future generations, the government is reinforcing a broader vision of cultural self-reliance and national integration in line with the objectives of Atmanirbhar Bharat and a culturally rooted India. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye for now from my side.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.